What's up? This is Millionaire Case Study. I'm Calvin Wayman, and this is episode 48. Yo, so I'm so pumped that you're here. This is a very big episode, especially for this entire year of 2017. By the way, today is January 20th, 2017. I'm here at my brother Aaron's house for the weekend. My brother's getting married, and so I'm going to be here for the weekend. But what I wanted to talk about for this episode is I wanted to share my goals for the whole year. These are goals that I came up with. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a cough right now, but these are the goals that I came up with. A big chunk of them came during my 6-day calibration week that you saw in the last episode, and then a little bit of processing since then, just deciding what it is that I really want to do. And I had some big breakthroughs since processing. Like, one of the, just kind of as an aside, one of the things that I've decided to do is, instead of trying to split myself too thin and focus on so many things like business coaching, plus my social media management, plus my book, plus courses that are around like goal setting and stuff like that, I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to focus more on social media as my, I'm focusing more on my business than anything. So it's going to be all about getting business clients. So that means when I speak, I want to speak on social media. When I do webinars, I want to do webinars on social media. When I write articles, I want to write articles on social media for the most part, right? So I think that singular focus is going to help me get better faster and get more comfortable even with delivering that type of thing. So that's just something I wanted to insert here. And I don't know if really many of my goals for the whole year have been affected by that, but it's a big enough distinction that I wanted to include it. So I have my goals right here. Excuse me. And what I'm going to do is just share with you what they are. There's 12 major goals that I have written down here for 2017. And I'm going to share them with you in the exact sentence that I have it written. Now, here's something that I want you to know in the way I have my goals structured. It's not just saying this is something I want to do. I've set goals like that before, and last year in 2016, I don't know why it freaking works, but it seems to work, but but it's talking about the goal as though it already happened. And this is something that this cough has got to go away. It's driving me crazy. But it's talking about my goals as though it already happened. And for whatever reason, when I'm seeing that every day, I feel like it's kind of helping my subconscious mind get its mind wrapped around the idea of that actually happening. And also, you'll notice that I have like emotions and feelings wrapped up into the goal. I'll give you an example. So the first one I'm going to tell you about is I want to give a TED Talk, or a TEDx talk at least this year in 2017, right? I don't know exactly how it's going to happen, but by the way, already, since I put this down, things have come into my circle. Like today, literally today, I met with Lance Allred. He has a TED Talk over 1 million views. It's a very successful TEDx talk, and I went to lunch with him today and spent like a couple hours with him. So for whatever reason, I feel like once you put this down in a very specific way, but also as though, talking about it as though it already happened, then somehow it kind of comes into your space. So I'm going to go through all 12 of them, maybe give a little commentary why I want to do those things, and just document it right now on the 20th of January 2017 before any of these has happened. So here we go. First one. I wrote, so cool, I'm still so freaking happy because I gave a TEDx talk. It has millions of views, has impacted the lives of so many people, and has amazingly changed my life in ways I couldn't have imagined. So that's goal number one. Something I just really want to do is give a TEDx talk. It's been here's the second one. It's been one of my most satisfying and freeing things I've ever done. It feels so awesome that I traveled outside the United States for the first time. Now this one, this was something that I decided during my 6-day calibration week or whatever, that I'm going to jump into this early rather than later. I was thinking of waiting till like July or August, but I've already booked it. I've booked a trip to Asia. Thailand, Bangkok specifically. I don't know, I've just heard so much good of people that have traveled and have gotten outside of their element and their comfort zone and things like that. So I'm going to test it. I'm going to believe in it. So I'm traveling outside of the U.S. for the first time. It's only been a couple months since I got my passport. I have it. And I'm traveling to Bangkok for about 16 days by myself. Just going to go experience it. Something I've always wanted to do. Kind of a down the road goal. I don't know where it's really came from, is I want to hit 30 countries in 12 months at some point in the next few years. So this is just me getting in the travel game. My goal is to get outside of the U.S. for the first time. So as I said, I just said it in the past tense as though it's already happened. I travel outside the U.S. and it just feels so awesome. Okay. Number 3. Last year I made just a little money on my first speaking gig. Because again, a year ago, I hadn't ever done any speaking gigs. And like, now I feel so pumped that I made more than $20,000 for speaking. Now, this is a big deal. I want to really solidify myself as a speaker. And what's interesting is, not only do I want to be a TEDx speaker and a other speaker, like this guy, Lance, he's doing both of these, and he's getting paid pretty well. So that's another goal that I want to hit. Not only speak, but get paid well for it. And it's going to have to be a lot to hit my really major goal that I'm going to talk about at the end here. Okay, here is number 4. I wrote, so damn much fun that I met Tim Ferriss. He's such a cool dude. Got to hang out with him, connect, and just have an awesome time. Now, I love Tim Ferriss for many reasons. Tim Ferriss is also a proxy, I feel like, in a lot of ways, because Tim Ferriss he wrote the 4-Hour Work Week. In some ways, I almost feel like that my body or part of my being has kind of put him as this person that, and this group of people that can't be touched, like the Arnold Schwarzeneggers or maybe the president, Barack Obama, and these other people, Oprah Winfrey, Ellen, like these people that there's this barrier that subconsciously I kind of wonder if I could actually ever meet them or see them. Jerry Seinfeld is another example. And so the reason I put Tim Ferriss, first of all, is I relate to the dude. Like, what I love is he's freaking real. He has had a ton of success, but he'll also talk about how much struggle he has with sometimes anxiety, depression, not being able to get up early, and things like that. And so, so it's a goal of mine to just somehow, don't know how, but to bump into him this year, 2017, to meet him, to just pierce that. And so I'm super excited for that. Okay, so that was 4. So 5. I can't tell you how happy I feel after joining School of Greatness 3.0 and getting put on the path to create the life I want. It's now come full circle, and I've been interviewed by Lewis Howes on the School of Greatness podcast. This will be cool because, again, I don't think Lewis Howes at this point has interviewed anybody inside his School of Greatness Academy. It's a little online thing that he does outside of his podcast, but kind of similar. And again, this is something that I want to do to kind of... Lewis Howes' podcast is pretty prestigious, and he only has people on there that have done major things. And I want to be, if not the first, one of the first people from his School of Greatness Academy that has gone through, build a business, and has become worthy enough to be on his show. That would just be a ton of fun. So I'm excited for that one too. Cool. So that is number 5. Number 6. Oh man, it was so fun being interviewed by the one and only Grant Cardone, my Uncle G. I love Grant Cardone. He's not for everybody. Just like Gary Vaynerchuk isn't for everybody. which is another one that I want to be interviewed by. But I love Grant Cardone. He's had a pretty big impact on my life with sales. He's what helped me keep going when I was doing door-to-door sales, and to just know that problems aren't a bad thing. I need to create more problems, like if anything, and different problems, and to just 10x and to keep going. And if you think you're going to run out of leads, make that a problem by actually knocking on enough doors or calling enough people that you run out of leads. Like, he's just given me different perspectives, and I want to be interviewed by him. I think that'd be really cool. So that's one of my goals as well. Okay, number 7. I am excited, humbled, and honored for being recognized as a leading entrepreneur and social media expert / practitioner to follow. Now, this is part of what I'm talking about with niching down and being specific to my industry, my business, Cobbs Media. I don't know how, but I want to be recognized and recommended by somebody that has either authority or clout or something, that I'm recognized as a social media expert / practitioner to follow, somebody that's in it doing it. So follow Calvin Wayman, he's in it. So that's another one of my goals. Cool, that was 7, right? So 8. Here's 8. I've never felt more sharp in my speaking and confident in making offers to an audience that has come from having shot 50 live webinars. So this is a pretty big goal. So my goal is to shoot 50 webinars this year. So that's pretty much a webinar a week. Now, why am I doing that? There are a couple goals, and this one and the next one I'll talk about, that I feel like are the small, simple things that are in my control that are going to have a big impact on my life by getting good at it. Like, first of all, webinars, the reason I think that's going to be impactful is I'm getting into speaking. And doing webinars, having an audience there, is getting in the reps, the practice of speaking week after week after week. Plus, I'm going to be giving an offer at the end of my webinar. So I want to get in the habit and have the skill of making offers from stage. And so that's why I want to do 50 webinars every single week, one webinar a week. I'm going to be doing one tomorrow, and that's my goal. Now, this other one is tied to it. It says, it feels so awesome that I've published 50 articles / blogs, and I've gained a ton of respect, authority, and admiration for the positive impact they've made. So that's kind of the same thing. What I don't have here with how I'm going to actually publish 50 blogs or articles is kind of the ritualistic thing I'm doing, and that is I've made a commitment that I am writing every single day. So I sit down every day and I write. So those two things, I feel so good about this. The writing and the performing webinars, I feel like are going to be huge, like just massive in the direction I want to go, because it's going to help me get more clear in communicating. Writing is going to be like any ideas I have every day, just putting it in there, but getting clear on what those ideas are. But it's also making a bank of content, which is going to become my, it's going to become the articles that I'm going to write, but it's also going to become content that I create for webinars. It's going to create the content I do when I'm talking about on stages. So I feel really good about those things, especially the writing. I can't really explain it, but those two feel really good to me. The writing every day and putting on a webinar every week. Like, those are two ritualistic things that I think are going to help me for the whole year, and especially the big goal that I have that I'll talk about at the end here. So writing 50 articles. Now, we're on 10, I believe. I wrote, it was a blast, and I still feel so empowered that I ran a marathon. Now, this is cool because this is something I should be able to do really easily. And you might think, well, am I actually growing? Because last year I ran an ultra marathon. But no, I still want to actually do an actual marathon. And here's the thing that was another breakthrough for me. It happened while I was at Epic Mastermind Experience last weekend when I was speaking. And it also came to me when I had the epiphany that I'm going to focus on social media and get so good at it. I feel like you have to get out of your comfort zone to grow and to go through something to get to become something bigger so you can hit the goals and have the results you actually want. But what I have kind of a feeling of too is there comes a point after you've done the growth that you need to just not worry about growing or getting out of another comfort zone for a little while and just freaking execute in that new zone that you created. So I've grown in the sense of I know I can do a marathon because I've done an ultra. Now I just want to execute that like in a hugely amazing way. And I think it'll make more sense if I talk about when I get to the last goal and how I'm going to actually hit the last goal. But yeah, again, this year is not so much about, I mean, these are awesome goals that I want to hit. I want them to happen as results. But this year is different in the last couple of years in that I'm not so focused, I don't think, on jumping so far outside of my comfort zone. I've done that. And that is what helped me do things like start my business and get on stage and present offers and to write my book. So what I'm saying now is, since I've stretched myself and I've done those things, now I just need to execute those things really freaking well. Now I just need to run my business really freaking well. Now that I've broken out and I've gotten on stages, now I just need to speak really freaking well and do even the same speech or something similar over and over, get the reps in and make it really freaking good. Like just execute in the things that I now know, that I've now grown into. That's what I think is going to help me make 2017 the biggest year of my life. Now, here's number 11. I wrote, yes, I'm so pumped and look pretty darn good, I might add, because I dropped the weight to get down to 140 pounds. Boom, baby. And of course, I shaved. This is a big one. I want to get freaking serious with this. So, since I ran 50 miles last September, I let my body go, just straight up. I somehow told myself that because I put in all the work and now that I was done, I could eat whatever the hell I wanted. And I did. From September through October, November, December, I ate like shit. And I gained some weight back. I think I was probably around 148, 150 when I ran that race. And I got up to the 165-ish area. Right now, I'm about 158, like today, when I weighed myself on the scale. I'm 158. My goal is to get to 140, so I have 18 pounds to go. And to show the universe, or myself and everything, that I'm freaking serious, this beard is not coming off until I hit it. So I'm going to freaking get down to 140, which would be the lightest, which will be the lightest that I've been since I was like 20, at least in a healthy way. I got down to 145 last year, so I already know I can do that, but I want to improve even on that. So I'm going to get down to 140, and I'm not going to freaking shave until I do. So that's number 11. Now everything comes to the big goal, number 12. In fact, this goal is the reason you're even watching this right now. And it's going to fucking happen, or I'm going to just die trying, or at least I'm going to give it everything I've got. And it says this. I did it. I don't know how it's going to happen. I am so proud. I have ideas, and it's going to probably be around my business, Cobbs Media, me speaking, and something else that the universe has out here somewhere that I can't see. But I have to believe it can happen. And I have to believe that when the boats are burned and everything, that that things are just gonna open up. At the same time, I'm human. And I'm not naive enough to think that it's just going to happen on its own. If I just wish hard enough and the secret's gonna take care of me. Some shit's gonna have to happen. And I don't know what the F is going to happen for me to hit $1 million. Because let me just be real. Can I just be super real with you for a second? My goal's always been to make $1 million. How close have I gotten, do you think? How much have I actually made in a year? By the way, the goal is to make $1 million in a 12-month period. It doesn't count for me to make $1 million for my whole life or anything like that. No, my goal is to make $1 million this year before my 30th birthday. But here's what I want to say to get real with you. I just barely started my business last year. The most money that I've ever made in a month with my own business so far is about $14,000. That happened in October. And I'm not making close to that right now. One of the people that actually helped make that happen ended up canceling and I had to get a refund. Also, the most I've ever made in a year has been less than six figures. Why am I telling you that? I'm not here to impress anyone. I want to document what's actually going on. Because this is what I would have wanted. Man, I wish I could go to see Jim Carrey. He has this awesome story on Oprah, I believe, where he talks about before he made it, where he wrote himself a check for like $10 million or something crazy. Well before anybody knew who he was, and he would visualize it and drive to the top of the mountain and feel like, you know what, I already have this. And then before his date that he wrote the check for, he freaking did it. And I look at other people I admire, like Gary Vaynerchuk. His company made like $100 million last year. He has Daily V, which is awesome. But he's already past the point of where my goal is. And that story is now just told after the fact. Same with Jim Carrey, stories told after the fact. So what I want, that I wish I could have had, and that's what this is all about, is if I'm gonna freaking do it, how cool would it be to actually see it happen as it's happening? How much bigger of an impact could that make? Instead of just the story told after, like this is how it happened, stuff lost in translation. That's what this is. That's what this whole project, Millionaire Case Study, is. And again, I'm not so naive to think that it's just gonna happen. It may fucking not. And what am I gonna do if it doesn't? I turn 30 and I didn't make $1 million? I don't know. I don't know. All I know is what I've heard from Jim Carrey and Gary Vaynerchuk and the book Think and Grow Rich and all these other things, that if you project it and you envision it and you have a vision and you're committed to it, you have this burning white hot desire, that it comes. So I'm testing it. And if it works, why not document it? Right? That's what I want to do. I want to document it and I want to see it happen. I want to be able to replay it and have people watch it step by step. This is how it freaking happened. And I'm not going to get a haircut until I do. So I might look like a bum over the next few months, or close to my birthday, or maybe the next year. Because if I don't hit it this year, heaven forbid, I'm still not going to get a haircut until I freaking hit it. And this is why I'm actually really damn excited about the idea of not getting a haircut. Something so simple and silly almost, and maybe even stupid. But the reason I'm excited about not getting a haircut until I make $1 million is this. One thing that I really believe in is something that I've heard from Tony Robbins and other people, that you have to have the right state to do something. And I felt this when I would do door-to-door sales. Like, when I felt worried and afraid, I didn't perform as well. But after having so many days in a row where I sucked, I went from being worried to be like, you know what? This is bullshit. I'm gonna freaking go and I'm gonna get a deal. And I'm not going to stop until I do. My state totally changed. And when my state changed, results changed. Life changed. The way I felt like the universe responded to me changed. Me getting a haircut is in my control. And I feel like, at least right now, it feels way more in my control than how I'm going to make the million. So, the reason I'm excited about having that as a part of this is I can now say with like certainty, because I might say I'm going to make $1 million, but there's still, to be honest, there's just that little bit of inkling of doubt in there that just takes away my certainty a little bit. But you know what I can say with certainty? I'm not going to get a fucking haircut until I make $1 million. So universe, God, whatever, whoever's in this to help me, be here. Help me, because I'm not going to freaking get a haircut until I do. As silly as that sounds. But it changes it. Changes the physiology, the state. And I have to believe that having that state is going to help me go after it and make it happen. But here's what I do know. There's definitely going to be lessons here come my birthday when I hit it. Because again, I'm going to have to 10x the most money I've ever made in a single year to make it happen. How is that going to work? How is that going to happen? You're watching it with me. You're on the journey with me. And all I can do, I can work my ass off, and that's what I intend to do. But at the same time, I want to be able to recognize opportunities differently, bring people in to help it happen differently, and not feel like that I have to do it all myself. Something that I've once heard is, if you can do your goal by yourself, it's not big enough. And I know that this is big enough that I can't do it by myself. Some things are going to have to come together. I'm going to have to learn to delegate in a way I've never done. Let people help me in ways I've never done. And I'm just pumped. So, those are it. These are the goals for 2017. Right now, on Friday, January 20th at 8:59 p.m. Mountain Time here in Riverton, Utah, 2017. I just want to document it so you see where I'm at right now. None of these I don't have a total clear picture how they're just going to happen quite yet. With the exception of me traveling outside of the country, I've booked that flight. But none of these have happened. And you get to watch them happen with me. So, that's it for this episode. It's a big episode. It's setting the foundation of what we're going to talk about and what we're going to see for this year, 2017. One little tweak that you should also know that I did in 2016 that I'm doing for 2017 is I have these goals for the year, but I've written a letter to myself as though these goals have already happened, but I didn't date it for December 31st, 2017. I actually dated it for July 15th, 2017. Why? Because I want to get my mind and everything feeling the urgency that these need to get done. And they may not all be done in the middle of the year come July, but I have to believe that if I focus on these all getting done by July, I'm going to be a whole hell of a lot closer than I would have been. And the chances of it happening for the rest of the year are a lot greater. So, these are not just my yearly plans, my yearly goals, what I'm going after. They're my goals for July 15th, 2017. So again, Calvin Wayman, your Millionaire Case Study. This has been a long episode, a big one, so I'm going to let you loose. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you know another entrepreneur or somebody that's dreaming bigger in life, and you know this would help them, or heck, maybe I've already made the million and you're coming back and you're seeing like, holy shit, this is what he was doing. Either way, thank you for watching, and please share this with somebody else. And thanks for being here on the journey. I will see you on the next episode. Peace out. Oh, by the way, real quick bonus. I actually have some bonus goals on here that I didn't tell you about. I just wanted to end the video on the bonus goals, just so you know they're out there. Again, these are goals that are just kind of out in the edges that I want to do someday. I don't think they're going to necessarily happen in 2012, but I was thinking about them when I came up with my 2017 goals, so I wrote them down, and I just want to document them now. I'll just burn them off because they're fat. I'll say them fast because there's a lot. Number 1, meet Oprah, meet Ellen DeGeneres, I want to meet Jimmy Fallon, President Obama, Jerry Seinfeld. Again, these are just people I think are really cool, and I want to meet them. Somehow, some way, don't know how, we'll see. Another one, travel to 30 countries in less than 12 months. We'll see how that happens, don't know. Make $20,000 in a single day. Want to do that, can't wait. Make $100,000 from an offer from stage. One offer, give a pitch, $100,000, can't wait for that. And then finally, make $100,000 from a private retreat. One event, one weekend, 100 grand. That's it. Thanks for watching. Peace out.